Hello, and welcome to this edition of Arlington Public News. I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Michelle Marino.
In tonight's newscast, we feature updates on two runners who participated in this year's Boston Marathon. We discuss the Wage Project with former Lieutenant Governor Evelyn Murphy, and we bring you a report on Generation Citizen. We also present highlights from this year's Patriots Day Celebration.
Those stories and more, plus our community calendar, coming up next.
Arlington's annual town meeting starts on Monday, April 28th, and it will be carried live on ACMi's government channel. And if you have internet access, you can watch a live stream of the meeting at acmi.tv/govlive. Town meeting is the legislative branch of Arlington's town government. Representatives from 21 precincts meet to discuss and vote on warrant articles and budgets for the next fiscal year. For information on these articles, reports, and voting results, please go to arlingtonma.gov/townmeeting.
Arlington's libraries have declared an amnesty period from April 22nd through May 31st. This is your chance to return overdue books, DVDs, and CDs without paying late fees. Please note that the amnesty does not cover fines for items which were lost.
In our last newscast, we introduced you to two runners preparing for this year's Boston Marathon. We now bring you an update on how they fared and what their experience was like.
The Boston Marathon is the world's oldest marathon. This year, over 36,000 runners from all over the world participated. Winchester local Kristen Weiner explained the difficulties and rewards of running a race like this.
It was a lot different than I imagined. It was awesome because there were thousands upon thousands of runners and hundreds of thousands of spectators. So it was just an incredible vibe all around. But it was definitely harder than I had thought it would be. I think the most difficult part was the mental aspect of it, like getting driven on a bus, an hour away, and then realizing that you have to run back to where you started. And that was really hard to kind of wrap my mind around. My family was standing there at mile 15, all five of my family members, or four, not including me. And my sister flew in from California, where she lives, my brother from Connecticut, and it was just incredible to have them there. I was running for the MS Society, and I knew that team very kind of loosely, but it was really nice to have them and to we all had to wear the same kind of singlet shirts. So it was really nice to see them throughout the race, and they would pat you on the back and say okay, keep going. So that was great. And I actually, when I was running, this might be on one of the pictures, I wrote Mom's Marathon on my leg because so that I could look at when I looked down, because one of the neurologists who spoke at the team dinner, the MS team dinner a couple nights prior to the race, had said, it's really great that athletes are running this marathon, but unfortunately for people with MS, it's a marathon every day for them just to get through the day. Well, we ended up raising $561,000, so over $500,000. It was a record, I guess, for the year.
Kristen attributes a large part of her success to the support of the crowd.
Every other foot, every other inch was just people. And people were holding out, families, water and Twizzlers and, for the sugar, and gummy bears and bananas. And I would not have made it as far as I did. I would not have finished without, some of the water and stuff that they were giving us. So, and it was so awesome to read all the signs that they had and just to kind of get a chuckle from that. And it was definitely an incredible energy that was there.
Kristen's advice to future runners is this.
I would say absolutely do it. Don't overtrain. I definitely overtrained. Take it slow. Do what you can do. Take rest if you need to rest. But just do it. It's not in your comfort zone, but it's the best experience ever. And you don't have to do it again.
This is Hannah Perlmutter with Arlington Public News.
Local author and distance runner Ray Charbonneau completed his 6th Boston Marathon and brings you his thoughts on running Boston.
If you look at the Boston Marathon or any other marathon, a big race, there are people in wheelchairs, people with one leg, people that were hurt at last year's marathon who have prosthetics now and will be coming back. You can run if you want to under pretty severe circumstances.
You've run it 5 times. In your mind, what makes Boston so special?
For most people, you have to qualify to get in, that you actually have to be fast enough. It's a challenge to strive for. I'm never going to be the winner, certainly, or somebody who can qualify for the Olympics or anything like that. But the qualifying for Boston is a hard goal, but it was attainable. And it was one that I spent years chasing and finally caught. And I was very proud of that.
You know, Michelle, this year's marathon brought a record number of runners.
It did, and it also brought the first American victory since 1983, so I think that's definitely something to celebrate.
It was a great one, especially after the tragedy from last year. What do we mean when we refer to the income gap? Who does it affect, and what can be done about it? The Wage Project aims to provide women with effective strategies for getting equal pay for equal work.
Hi, I'm Hannah Perlmutter with Arlington Public News. Today I'm here with Evelyn Murphy, the founder and president of the Wage Project. Evelyn, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Hannah.
It's great to have you here. So I'd just like to start off and ask you a little bit about what the Wage Project is.
Well, the Wage Project I founded 10 years ago. It's a project, a nonprofit, nationwide grassroots organization, basically to eliminate the gender wage gap. You can call it discrimination or eliminating the wage gap, but it's an activist organization. We do workshops teaching women how to negotiate to get paid fairly. We do it with hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, so this is an entrepreneurial small operation, but with an extension that goes nationwide to 48 of the 50 states. We offer workshops on campuses called Start Smart, and those are largely for women, young women, sophomores, juniors, but mostly seniors, who are about to start to work after they graduate. And what we basically do is teach them how to figure out what their worth is for the job that they're applying for, in the marketplace that they're going, the kind of job they're applying for. Then how to be persuasive in their language so they can talk to a job interviewer and say, here's why I'm worth this. And the strategy of salary negotiation. It's very simple principles. You just have to prepare, you have to practice, you have to be disciplined about this. But when you do that, you'll be amazed at the effect it'll have on your paycheck. And that's huge over your lifetime, particularly as these things accumulate.
What exactly is the wage gap today? How do you measure that?
Well, the wage gap today is, by federal standards, 77 cents. Women earn 77 cents for a dollar that men earn. That's for year-round, full-time working women compared to year-round, full-time working men. So this is apples to apples. What now needs to happen, because the progress has been less successful at the local level, it's about how do you get the action from women? Because if we don't act, nothing's going to happen. We can have all the laws in the world, but it doesn't, we've outlawed discrimination since the 1960s, but there's still discrimination. We can outlaw unequal pay, but we'll still have it unless we act on it. So that's our challenge right now, and it's a huge challenge, largely because women fear, and rightly, retaliation, and because paychecks for women are so important nowadays for their families. So it's hard to get women to act until they know they can control this. That's what these workshops do. They help you control to say, okay, I can go this far. If I feel like I'm jeopardizing my job or my career, I can back off and not lose anything. So it's getting that confidence because you know how to do this. That's what needs to happen now. That's the progress that hasn't been made so far. And then we're just beginning to get a sense of stop talking numbers, stop talking about laws and legislation, and start talking about action.
I'm Hannah Perlmutter with Arlington Public News. Thank you for watching.
Well, Paul, I think it's great what the Wage Project is doing, and they're certainly teaching everyone negotiation skills and strategies that all of us can use.
You know, we've come a long way in this country, but we still have a ways to go.
The goal of Generation Citizen is to teach teenagers how to become better citizens via an in-class curriculum and exercises. We delve into this ambitious project in the following report.
Hello, I'm Gayatri Sundarajan, and I'm here with Alma and Juliet to talk about the Generation Citizen program at the Audison Middle School. So, what is Generation Citizen?
It's a club for the students of Audison Middle School where you work together and you figure out something that you think is wrong with the community, and you figure out ways to fix it, and you send out petitions, and you talk to the town and the schools, and you try to get it fixed.
So you spoke about doing something good for the community, so what are you doing this year as your issue?
There are these two crosswalks. There are the crosswalks where Appleton crosses with Park and Oakland crosses with Park. And I guess our goal is to kind of increase the safety.
And why did you guys choose crosswalks as your issue?
Well, in our group, we had one boy who had some family injured on the crosswalks, and we just looked it up and became even more clear that it was a danger to the community that not many people really knew about. And Alma lives really close to it, and so we thought if we were going to do something, then we might as well do something that means something to us.
So what do you think is the most difficult part?
I think the most difficult part is convincing people that it's an issue, because not many people have thought of it as one, and so we have to convince them with statistics and reasoning that we need to get this fixed and it's worth fixing.
Right now we're making posters, we're sending out emails, we're just raising a lot of awareness and trying our best.
The actual painting of the crosswalks won't take too much work, it's really getting there. We're very close to Civics Day where we present our topic, and we're getting in front of a school board meeting, and we have sent out flyers and petitions to businesses so that we can help raise awareness and help the cause.
Yeah, so what's your favorite part of Generation Citizen?
I think just students collaborating to actually make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, something like that, and also just kind of, it's a lot of fun, just I have a couple friends in that class, in that club, and it's been really fun meeting new people and discussing issues.
This is Gayatri Sundarajan with Alma and Juliet reporting for Arlington Public News.
Debbie OCarroll uses magic to bring fun and a sense of wonderment to children and their families. News intern Katie Rooning brings you our next segment on Debbie's Magical Theater for Children.
Magic, myths, music. Debbie O'Carroll's Irish Magic Show takes you through classic Irish myths and legends, but with a magical twist. From the mischievous Gruagog to the sneaky leprechaun, Debbie brings classic Irish tales to life with magic that will leave you spellbound.
And I just always love performing for children. The fairy tales, the myths, the legends, everything. And I've been doing this show almost 40 years.
Debbie really encourages audience participation. She likes to get her audience involved by asking for little helpers to come up on stage. We spoke with a few of those helpers after Debbie's recent show at Arlington's Regent Theater. Patrick, what did you think of the show?
It was good.
And what was your own favorite trick that she did today?
The guessing sock trick.
Did you enjoy yourself, though?
Yes.
Alexander, you stand just a little bit over there. That's great. Perfect.
Alexander, what did you think of the performance?
So I like when she put the window on herself.
Yeah, I don't know how she fit through there. Do you?
No.
I noticed that you were up on stage quite a bit. Do you like to go up on stage?
Yeah.
Well, the most fun part is the kids, obviously. And I think the hardest part is coming up with new material.
Who did you come here with today?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather brought you, great. And what was your favorite trick that you saw?
I would say the one where she stacked the boxes and they kept on coming out.
Debbie performs all over the country, from Massachusetts to Georgia to Montana, mainly for schools, libraries, and Irish festivals. Be sure to check out Debbie's website, www.debbieocarroll.com, to find when she will be performing next. And keep an eye out for performances this summer at a number of Boston public libraries. For Arlington Public News, I'm James Milan with Debbie OCarroll. Thanks for joining us.
Masonic lodges all across Massachusetts opened their doors on April 12th. Our own Mystic Valley Lodge, Arlington, was no exception.
At this year's Masonic Spring Open House, visitors got to tour the building and view historic photographs and other artifacts from the 5 lodges that now make up Mystic Valley Lodge, Arlington.
And the open house is an opportunity for us to show the community not only the asset that this building can provide, but a little bit about Freemasonry and the Masons in Arlington, Massachusetts.
There were pictures of the construction of the current building at 19 Academy Street and of members saving items from the lodge's previous location that burned in 1924. But the most fascinating item was the original record of the Charter Hiram Lodge.
Okay, I brought out the original minutes book of Hiram Lodge when it was founded on September 7th, 1797. And it first goes into applying for a charter from Grand Lodge and then accepting that charter. And it's signed by the first members of the lodge, who were all pretty much veterans of the Battle of Lexington. And the first signer is William Monroe of the Monroe Tavern in Lexington. And there are just a lot of names in here. It's just an amazing historical document with, the patriots of the time, or traitors, depending on which side you were on. But it's one of the treasures we have in the lodge, and we keep it safely tucked up in the vault. I also have this ivory gavel, which was used by William Monroe to open the first meeting of the lodge. And again, we take good care of that. It's quite an artifact. Think how old these things are, and this was held by someone who fought at the Battle of Lexington. It was just amazing.
The afternoon ended with recognition of Patsy Kramer for her efforts to update this beautiful community asset.
Up next is our community calendar.
Enjoy the music of longtime resident, author, and jazz pianist Eva Balas as she performs at Robbins Library on May 1st at 7 p.m. Hear songs of human nature and natural wonder as Cantilena performs its spring concert featuring the works of romantic to modern composers on May 4th at 4 p.m. at First Parish Church. If theater is your thing, 2 shows open May 2nd. Arlington Children's Theater will perform The Hobbit at the Arlington Center for the Arts May 2nd through 4th, and Arlington Friends of the Drama presents A Little Night Music 3 weekends only from the 2nd through the 18th. The Old Schwam Mill will continue its 150th anniversary lecture series on May 3rd at 1:30 with a look at the workers' experience at the mill from the late 19th through 20th centuries. Can junk food end obesity? Find out when Arlington Community Education holds a conversation with journalist David H. Freeman about his controversial cover story on May 7th at 7:30.
Patriots Day is a state holiday that celebrates the first battles of the American Revolutionary War, including the battles of Lexington and Concord and the British retreat through Arlington, then called Menotomy. Next, we bring you highlights from our Patriots Day Parade and celebration.
You know, many people don't know that Paul Revere's historic ride was right up present-day Mass Ave here in Arlington.
It's pretty neat. I think we're so fortunate here in New England to have American history in our own backyards.
We really are. We're right in the thick of it here. Be sure to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Arlington Public News and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public News. Both links can be found on our website at news.acmi.tv.
If you particularly enjoyed any of the segments on tonight's broadcast, feel free to watch it again on news.acmi.tv. Also, be there to catch up with recent blog posts regarding our favorite stories of the week and other events.
For Arlington Public News, I'm Paul Werland.
And I'm Michelle Marino. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us.